Yeah, so that was a trivial error. You can't do that here. We cannot call it here because the owning factory is not set yet. I'm gonna wonder why, because it has. Why would I set it here? Factory is known, like right now here. Oh, right. Add characteristic is this. This sets the owner. No, well, move it to here, I guess. Or yeah, well, multiple roads lead to Rome, as it were. That's good enough. I have 3 more scoops of pea soup. No, whatever. Still doesn't seem fixed, or another crash, I don't know. We're back to validation errors now. But a different validation error, and different between quotes. Well, no, not really. Maybe, I don't know. Push constant is used in the vertex stage with a fancy name. But that same fancy name, or no wait, it's something else. The pipeline layout at index 0, it's another fancy name by the way, doesn't set the shader states vertex bit. How do we debug this? So I'm telling the pipeline factory to create a pipeline, and I'm telling it that we have a certain amount of push constants, and I'm telling it that the push constants are not being used in the vertex shader. But the vertex shader says, hey, I'm using a push constant. I think that especially the latter thing is pretty smart of itself, but yeah, well. And as you can see, we fixed the stage count, it's now 1. So apparently that part worked-ish. Yeah. How to debug this? Well, you have to translate this beautiful English text to a value of some given variable. And I agree that the vertex shader is using a push constant, because we are. And therefore, what is wrong is that the pipeline layout does not have that registered correctly. So the only thing I have here is, apart from my memory, which is non-existent, as you know, is that variable name. The project sources with a variable name. You see, by the way, why it is printing this. It's printing, well, this, right? With even something behind it. And then a node, a footnote, number 2 here, saying what object it is. How on earth does it know that? Well, because of this line here. So in debug mode only, construct a debug name with this part, and then also an index between square brackets. So that's why that turns up here like this. So we did get here with while the size was 0, apparently. So I think that's a good place to start. And indeed, this is where the pipeline layout was created. I would guess that it has to do with that variable here. I mean, that's talking about push constant ranges. So let's... isn't that printed? I mean, I think I print literally everything when I do a call like this. Create pipeline layout. Push constant ranges. It's printed. So we should be able to see it in the output as well. It's a bit much, but where does that thing start, right? Maybe use a different color for every argument. No, I did not see it. I just copy over everything, put it in a file. And then we go to the here, huh? Create. This is the first. Oh, really? No. Create graphs pipeline, and we begin with this is the second argument already. I don't believe it. Yeah, it's just did the whole thing here. The whole thing is one argument. No, that confuses me. Try it. Was I here? No, I was in the debugger. It is not here. Here. Yeah, okay, that's true. Now we're looking at the code. Methinks. This is a vector. Why is it not printing the vector then? Pipeline layout. I do not see this back in my debug output. Yeah, what the hell? I keep forgetting that if I do this, that puts the highlight here. So this is now my input. So I have to click again here. Otherwise it won't stay. It's something else. How can it be something else? Logical device, create pipeline layout. Then this is create graphics pipeline. 1 minute. 2. Where's my create graphics pipeline? Sorry, here it is. It's looking at the wrong function. Okay, we're trying to create a pipeline layout with nothing, which is basically the same problem as we had before, right? Passing empty vectors. Both of them are empty. Neither is good. So this is empty and this is empty. Now I could look at either, I guess. I'm gonna look at the first one instead of the push constant, I think. Well, this pre-allocates a standard vector with the same size as this vector, and then just copies it over, more or less. So Yeah, again, I guess it's pretty safe to say that this is empty, an empty vector. So the size is 0 here. Where does that come from? That is... So just search upwards for this thing then, realize descriptor set layouts. The W means that we have it locked. Get right access to it. Hey, but if that's empty... Oh no, it's not true. Yeah, so this output we saw. I was just printing this one. Or didn't it? Realize pipeline layout. No, I didn't look at that yet. But okay. I guess this one is also empty. So it's just calling realize pipeline layout with 2 empty vectors. And that seems to be called from here. Yep. And as you can see, it's the same thing as the previous stream. We get that information. Well, this one. Let's now talk about the push constants then. Maybe I should be more worried about this one. But again, the sorted push constants we do get from the flat create info. So maybe I should concentrate on that first. That's what we ran into in terms of validation errors anyway. Flat create info returns get sorted push constant ranges, which is here. That's just merging whatever is in this list, and that list will be empty. For the exact same reason as before, we are not calling the add. So here we have the thing, and it's empty. The reason it's empty is because we don't call add on it anymore. And that means we don't call this function, which means we do not call an add where we pass a vector of vk push constant ranges. I'm going to look if that still exists anywhere in the code. Oh, well, a lot of times, basically. Also inside add push constant. Oh, commented out. And then what is this doing? It looks like an accessor. So this is just a flat create info, which knows about the type because you need to be able to add such a vector to it. And this is .cxx code, so that is doing something. I think this is the old one. Oh, this frame resource count is an old test, which I didn't fix yet. So here we see how it used to work. It used to work by having this in the window class. I suppose this is the window class. It's not a window class, sorry. No, yeah, we used to have it as part of the characteristic class in the user code, and then that would call add on the flat create info. So I've explained before in the past, such an add just means that this characteristic tells the flat create info, hey, we will fill this vector. So it just passes a pointer to the vector and then it fills it, and then in the end when the pipeline can be created, it will extract it from the flat create info, merge it with any other adds of the same type that we had, and then use it. Now here you see that this is actually being filled. So if we still have that data, then somewhere this call should happen. That would be at least interesting enough also to look at it, because that's the vector that should go into the vector that we add to flat create info. In other words, that goes into a vector that we have to add to the flat create info. And we don't add it. So I'm going to look at, well, this is gone. So let's just look at this call. And it is never called. Well, maybe never called, but it exists. So this should return the vector that then must be copied to a vector that we added to the flat create info. However, I just saw an assert saying that there can only be one of these things. So maybe I should take a detour again and not go through the flat create info add at all. Let me think. Now let's have a look at the flat create info. What it does with this. But I do need to remember this this place, I think. So I'm going to a different top. Oh, here we have something. Let me now highlight that thing, this here. Okay, so this is again, well, it is a mutex protected vector of vectors. And then at the moment that we're going to merge these vectors, it says, yeah, but really we don't support that. And that's the weird thing. So if I look at the list here, yeah, this assert. So at the moment you call get sorted push constant ranges, it's going to merge it, but then it demands that there is only 1 or 0 of such vectors in it. So it's not really anything supported there. Um, I think that. I don't know. I was going to say maybe you should just completely remove it from the flat create info. But on the other hand, this object is supposed to store absolutely everything that is needed to create a graphics pipeline. And I wanted to move it to the pipeline factory, but let's not do that. I'm trying to think if this is really true that we cannot do that. What literally says here, merging push constant ranges doesn't seem to make sense. Oh, and then it says at least it's not supported right now. So if it turns out to make sense in the end, and I want to support it later on, then it would be painful if I deleted all of this. So maybe I should keep it. I think in fact it is needed. The merging is needed. Yeah, so let's keep it. And that means that we need to call this function with the vector that we're going to fill. And that vector should be, I guess, an element of add push constant. You see, I have two of them. So one is the base class of the vertex pipeline characteristic, and the other one is part of the fragment shader at the moment, which I'm not using at this moment, but this is 0 at the moment because it gives its own problems. But once I get this working, then we'd have a separate instance, and both of them then will register their own push constant ranges, which have to be merged somehow. At any rate, exactly this vector that is commented out should exist. And now I'm editing sorry. It wasn't used, but it was here, and then I got confused, thinking, hey, I don't see where it is being used. Well, we are going to use it right now. So this is the vector that I want to fill. By the add push constant, but currently, well, it was commented out, so it's definitely not being filled right now. And let's fix that first. Okay, maybe it's me. It did compile. It did compile. With this commented out. So, are you telling me you don't even use this header now, or what? Because it's totally being used here. The type is the same thing, right? Oh no, this is a set. Oh, this is a vector. Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. I see this highlight and then short circuit in my brain. I thought this was the one that was commented out, but it's not. So I have a set, and then at the last minute we have to copy the set into a vector. But when is the question? Currently that happens, or it doesn't happen at all, but it could happen at the moment that this function is being called. Well, then at least that's when the conversion took place from the set to the vector. Yeah, so I want to find back when that function is being called. If I did not do that already, I did that here. Yeah, and then we found out that it is no longer being done. Also commented out. Thank God I have a fix me comment. Do the below from the factory after all characteristic finished. Okay, thank you, past Carlo, explaining that to me. So there's a point in the pipeline factory where I guess this is in after preprocess. So as soon as all the characteristics have finished their preprocess state, then we should have all this data. And at that point, we should be able to call push constant ranges on each of the characteristics. That is, each of the characteristics that are derived from it gets annoying. That are derived from add push constant. Now I was using a certain trick in the last stream, which I probably should be using here again, but I forgot what it was. Let me think. Okay, first I'll try to find. Okay, I cannot remember anything anymore. Let me paste it in the chat. Or not. I'll have to something that I was using as a pseudo memory. I think I'm done with this. Probably can delete it now. I can delete it. Yeah, I'm still not convinced that we need this. So let's keep it commented out. And now we go to the pipeline factory. And here we have the state pipeline factory characteristics preprocessed. So at this point they are all preprocessed, and therefore we should be able to do what you want to do, and that's what we do. We call get sorted push constant ranges. Yeah, I think I'll just have to. Let me see. Could do it here. Trying to remember that trick. Okay, let's just remember this. Which can be done at the top of what was that trick? The trick was that I let I just called a function and I let the add shader states base class do its thing. I want to do that here as well for the push constant. Add push constant class. Yeah, this register width. Yeah. Originally this is a different name, and it depended on the type that we passed, and then I changed it and changed it and changed it. So now the only thing that is being passed is a pipeline factory pointer. But then we cannot overload the function on the type of the argument anymore. So I think I have to rename the register width, unfortunately, to something that contains flat create info. No, that's not sufficient either. It was this specifically this type here. So it's difficult. It's more like a potential thing then. It's like I want this to be called on every base class that is being used. And I'm afraid I'll just have to add a different function for each base class then. Yeah. Let's rename that thing to something that makes more sense then. So you're calling register with flat create info, that's all nice. But then that function, I mean this is part of the characteristic range, which is part of every characteristic, base class of every characteristic. But then I really want to call functions of each base class. So I think that what I should do here is call multiple functions, which are then more or less optional. Let's say add, let's use add shader stage. Then I only have two of them, I think, currently. Add shader stage and add push constant. Yeah, sort of, I guess. I think so. And then that means, of course, that here, oh, that's what I just added. In the bridge, to rename this to register add shader stage with, right? Nobody, I'm running Arch Linux. Okay. So by default these things do nothing, but then if this is a base class of add shader stage, then that will be implemented and that will be called because it's a virtual function. So I'm going to have to add it to add push constant. And just like the other one, so I might as well have a peek here first, maybe. I'll have to change this. So this one is doing add shader stage with, needs to be renamed, and then I'll copy all that. And then we go to the add push constant class. And then I'll add somewhere, because it can be private, and it's a virtual function which I usually add somewhere at the bottom. No, it's not really a place yet that we can add it, but I'll just add it here. Push constant. Okay. And then, yeah. Then we simply need that vector, I guess, because I'm registering it now. The vector need to exist at the moment it's being merged, so I cannot use that set. It's not how the merge works. I don't know, it feels a bit like a waste, but Now that is being registered. And Google is still not able to get rid of. Hey, LGL. So imagine I didn't say hey. YouTube is still not able to get rid of LGL. Now we had the spam bots again. Right. Now this is called pretty early. And then we simply register it. But it still has to be filled. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. Let me think. Filling it. I could do it as soon as we were done with this, which means the last call to insert push constant range. When is that last call for this characteristic object? That is the same as the last call to GLSL ID full is used in. Called on push constant declaration context. Because that function is the only one that is calling this. And that function is being called from here. Yep, the rest is declaration or debug output or vertex attribute related. And the last call then happens, the last call to is used in on push constant, which happens So debug output and declarations. Then where is it called? So they called here. It's at shader stage. Well, I guess it is. Yeah, that's preprocess 1. Okay. So after the call to preprocess 1, we can do it. and that's on a per characteristic basis. Don't tell me that it's user code. Well, then I could do it at the end of preprocess 1. No, wait. Huh? No. What the heck? Yeah, that is preprocessing stage. So we're still back at square 0. We have to do it after all characteristics finished preprocessing. No. We have to do it after one characteristic finished its call to preprocess. I really want to avoid as much as possible that a user, aka here in this code, has to do extra calls. So I'm trying to, we're back at this point here. Do the below in the factory after all characteristics finished. Yeah, exactly, but not entirely true. Then we just found out that it's not necessary to wait until all characteristics finished. We can do it immediately. As soon as a given characteristic finishes its preprocessing, then we can call this function on it. Yeah, Bailey, can you imagine what my real job is? It's hobby. Preprocess 1. Kind of doing it full time, don't you? So there's two possibilities. Either I would do it at the end of preprocess 1, or I can hijack the fact that we are calling, that we are running preprocessed anyway, this state. That could be doing it as well. But I guess this makes more sense, because no, that's not true. A single characteristic might call multiple times preprocess, so we cannot do it at the end. You can only do it at the end of the preprocess state. Yeah, so that means that we have to do it, or can do it, in this state. And this is being run. Or there's still this function here. Realize descriptor set layouts. But yeah, I probably should just remove that and include that as well in the same at the same place. I mean, why would I want the user to call this? In fact, I'm a bit confused that it is here. Realize the descriptor set layouts. That definitely also feels like something that you only want to call once all characteristics are finished. Okay, I'm going to add our push constant stuff to this. Okay, here we have a characteristic that it just finished. Nightcast, a vulkan engine. One of its kind vulkan engine, I must say. I don't think you'll find any other vulkan engines that do this code. Okay. Maybe not the best spot. I think I need to call probably need to call a function on the characteristic itself. This is in the characteristic range, so that makes more sense. I could do it like before here. Fact there. Okay, now I need a new function name, and this one is going to copy the set to the vector if it is a push constant range. I'm just gonna call it fill. Damn it. Fill push constant ranges. Which makes the this whole construct, it makes it very dubious, I think. I mean, it might as well have that last factor here be a part of the flat create info, and then copy the set directly there. I don't know. I don't like it much. What is the right thing to do here? The beauty of that approach would be that I don't even have to add, don't have to do the registration, which I just added. So I have to remove that again, but well. I think it's still better. It's still better to do it like that. Yeah, let's do that. And I'm going to even rename this one register. Register is not really add maybe, no, also not add. Copy, merge, copy, I guess. That's in the description, Tunar on, below the video. In the FAQ section. Copy push constant ranges. Okay, and I need to remove, or rather, let's say replace, register add push constant with this is add push constant. So if it is an add push constant, we will end up in this function. And we are also passing the pipeline factoring. But now we are already done. So I'm not going to do the add to flat create info anymore, but something else. I cannot remember it anymore, so I'm just fix me. Push content has a .cxx. It doesn't. Well, might as well add one. Virtual void vulkan constant cannot be overloaded with I thought I just deleted that. I just added the wrong function. Yeah. Trust me, I completely lost overview as well, myself. Characteristic range. Really? Yeah, indeed. Well. Shadow stage. It's kind of lame. Multiple virtual base class inheritance. Don't you love it? Okay, now to implement this. What did I want to do? This is add push constant, so now I want to copy my set to the flat create info, which I didn't want to add in non-const reference to. So that has to be a pipeline factory function. I'm just going to give it the same name. There. And we pass. So don't have this anymore. I'm going to pass that. Yeah, just pause it, I guess. And now we don't have this anymore. That would be this insert. It's a bit vague, isn't it? Push constant range. It's kind of what it is. I think the word constructed is not really accurate. Copy the data that simply was added or something, I guess. The data that was added. By calls to yeah, whatever. Okay. So then I need a push constant ranges thingy in the pipeline factory, which just passes it on to flat create info. I think this is what I added. Yeah. So I'll just add it here. Another proxy for flat create info, and this is yeah, I don't know, was it the m sorted push constant ranges? I think so. So that's this set, and the annoying part is that now it must know what the push constant ranges compare is. I'm not sure where I defined that. It's just in its own header, so I don't really care about that, I guess. Normally I would use a type def, right? I'm not sure if we can access that. Add push constant, can we access that in wherever I came from? Here, pipeline factory. Add push constant, nope. Oh well, but wait, we can do that the other way around, because I do have a pipeline factory. So that's maybe not what one would expect, but let's copy this. And then I go to the pipeline factory. And can I already jump to this one? Yeah, no, yes, not really. Pipeline factory. So I could do using sorted push constant ranges type. Is that set? And then we pass that set as a const reference to this function. And then I need to include that header here. That was defined in pipeline 2, yes. And then we have this this new type here. Then I can use that type, which is defined in, and now I've got, seriously, I've got it. I think it was pipeline factory. Pipeline factory. I can get rid of that, and I do include pipeline factory here. That should totally work, or shouldn't it? But I want to be able to jump to that. Maxi tags. You don't want to know what I think about JavaScript. I could say it, but I would lose half my viewers, because they would dislike me. PI. What? How is that possible? I didn't implement it. Did I not implement it? Of course I implemented it. No, I did not implement it. It's not a universal function. Well, I don't know any JavaScript. I just don't know that it is probably the most popular language out there currently. And I know what other C++ programmers have said about it. And they're pretty denigrating. That's the correct word. Then again, I don't know it myself. But my personal opinion, which I didn't want to say, but don't blame me, because it's just, you know, I don't even know it. I don't know the language. So yeah, I shouldn't say it. No, I cannot say it, sorry. On the other hand, you know, people that are here are interested in C++. I think it's a language that is suited for people that are not smart enough to understand C++. Which immediately explains why the majority, aka the masses, use it. But hopefully they get paid less than C++ programmers. Postbunny is our JavaScript cheerleader. Give us a J, give us an S. Come on, Postbunny, you can do it. Postbunny Postbunny hates coding. You are unbelievable. So really the only reason you watch my streams is because you like my voice. That's it, right? Constant comparison not declared. We are in pipeline factory with the namespace task. This is in pipeline to vulkan pipeline to do the trick. If I included the header, which I did. I have no reason to learn any new languages. I've done Java Basic. That is my first language. No, whatever basic, just normal Basic on the TRS-80. Then Java Basic, which is more like Pascal-ish. And then assembly with several different CPUs. Coded a lot in assembly because the CPUs are so slow. And I coded in C, of course, and in Pascal for during the PhD stuff, and also Fortran, 1 week course or something like that. I had to do it 1 or 2 week course in Java, which made me throw up. So at least I know enough about Java to say that C++ is way better than Java. And I think that JavaScript is even a lesser cousin of Java. So, And now, yeah, well, why would I learn why on earth would I want to be interested in a new language? C++ can do everything, and I know it. Oh, I already know C++. There's no reason whatsoever I would change. I am interested in new things like artificial intelligence, or that doesn't exist, but let's say machine learning. And I would be interested in looking into that. But hey, here I am looking into a brand new API for modern graphics cards. So it's not like I'm really acting like a dinosaur who doesn't want to learn anything new. I just don't think that's a good use of my time to start studying a different programming language at my age. It's going to be C++ till I die. I cannot talk and fix compile errors at the same time because, yeah, well, you know, only women can do two things at the same time. I cannot. Error. Pipeline factory does not name a type. Task then, maybe? Add push const. Task. Did you mean task, pipeline factory? Somehow stopped with that. Stop doing that. It compiles. So if now I run it and it crashes again here, which means that it looks like we are still on a good track. Okay, now we are on the pipeline factory and we must copy the push constant ranges, which were just passed. But really, I have to do something equivalent to that other function that I just added. God knows where I added it. I'm gonna go to the I think it was the template. The template. Add. No, add something. Add. Anyway, it was a template. Wasn't it? Too many adds. Might as well search for template. Template here. Add to flat create info. Yeah. So the whole thing. The only thing it does is just pass it on to flat create info. So let's do it here as well, but then slightly different. You're pausing it like that, and it's not really an add. I see no reason not to use the same name here. And now I have to add that same thing to the flat create info. Yeah. And that has to do with this highlighted stuff, doesn't it? I think so. In other words, push constant ranges, at least. And that would be here. Everything at the bottom. So there it is. This is now being called, and it is absolutely not const. So let's remove the const. And now I have to do something like this, but then differently. We're no longer calling this add, and Everton, how are you, Everton? Still have a girlfriend? I hope not, because then you will be during my Christmas stream. Then you will be here during my Christmas stream. Or maybe you can keep your girlfriend, but then she must say, no, I don't want to hang out during Christmas. I'm just kidding. But I remember that. I'm complaining about my memory like crazy, but there's still a lot I remember. I notice. Rest time. What the fuck, dude? You want me to go to bed, like now. I'm still worried that it is a bit too early, the Christmas stream. But today, in the afternoon, I had 30 plus viewers and now 46, so... Well, and now it's late. That's, of course, the thing. I think that the later, the more viewers I have. Yeah, Nikita has his priority straight. What is the right? You can't know what is important in life. No, he's not, obviously. Everything's like, yeah, well, post bunny fantasies. Let's not get into it. I have to fix this function. Concentration dropped like. We just got post bunny. We just lost 10 viewers in the last minute. Maybe I should stop. I'm gonna stop watching the chat for a bit. No more chat. Get sorted push constant ranges. I don't think I need this anymore. Or do I? Might still be cold. Yes, of course it is cold. It is cold. Yeah, I think I think that what we need to do is add it to this list. So what I just deleted is mostly what I should do. Like that. But then differently. Oh, very differently, because the bloody list, if we want to run merge on it, it has to be a vector of pointers to vectors. And that's what I wanted to change. Why not just merge it immediately? Which means that this whole push constant range list is going to be disappearing here. But it's still going to be, I think I still need it to be AI thread safe-ish. Let's just make this a single vector of push constant range. And then I'm not going to call it list anymore, because I use list for the vector of vectors thing. I could call it merged, but I'm not supporting merging yet, so maybe I shouldn't. Okay. Yeah, I need to in a container type as well here, it seems. Using the push content ranges container type is this vector. So I usually do it, and then I wrap that in the AI thread safe wrapper. Oh, we got rid of the list, and then I use that thread safe type for my push constant ranges. And then at the moment that this is being called, well, that should be done after we are done writing to it. So I can just return, you know, a thread unsafe copy. Or I can do the right thing and just, you know, return an access type. I mean, returning this is like indeed totally doing away with I mean, if nobody's using it, then why not keep the mutex locked? Since I have to log it anyway, otherwise it's my library makes it literally impossible to get to it. And so yeah, let's just return a read access type here. Must be by value though. It should work. Okay. Well, actually, this is const, and I want to keep it const. So my push constant ranges is const, and therefore I cannot even write to it. So I can also not construct a read access type. I have to construct a const to read access type. And now we're not merging. I'm just returning and push constant ranges, which will then be used to construct a CRED. So at the moment I return this, the mutex is being locked and then held as long as the returned value is used, kept, whatever. Assert, yeah, well, we don't have a list anymore, so only add one. Yeah, in the end I want to get rid of this, but at the moment it's not supported. Okay, so now I want to write to it. So take the right axis here. And then I have to copy stuff. We don't return anything. And yeah, I'm going to, this is not supported yet, merging, so the thing must be empty. Let's see, so that means that it must be empty, like this, like empty. So now I have a right access thing that acts like a pointer to a vector that I want to fill with something from a different container. How? Isn't there like a standard copy or something maybe that I can use here? This can be gone, I guess. Standard copy. Copies elements in the range defined by first last to another range beginning at D. Copy all elements in the range starting from first proceeding to last. Behavior is undefined. If D versus within the range first last, in this case, then the copy backwards may be used instead. Only copies the element for which the predicate is true. Same with but execute accordingly to policy. I guess that I can use it. So like here, from begin, from end, back inserter to vector. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Yeah, so this is it. This is it, except that from vector is really the sorted push constant ranges set. It's not a vector, it's a set, but that should work. And the back inserter is taking, I guess, a reference to a vector, which means that I have to dereference my right locked thing. And then I want it not to allocate more memory again and again and again. I just, you know, well. I think that was a reserve. Yeah, so we have a vector reserve, right? Vector reserve, yeah. Increase the capacity of the vector, and so on and so on. This appends, however. Not the assert. Make sure that it was empty. So then therefore the reserve is also okay. Otherwise, of course, I would have to do reserve the current size plus the new size. Actually, the reserve is not about size, it's about capacity. So theoretically, I could indeed do capacity plus the size. Okay, I suppose that capacity returns a number of elements, right? Reserve is also a number of elements. Total number of elements. Yep. It means the number of elements that container has currently allocated space for. So it's in number of elements. And back inserter is part of algorithms or something, or what is it? Iterator. Iterator. Nah, what do I still miss? Except that I should be in bed already. I'll miss this. This is in flat create info. Yeah, we don't have that here. Do we have pipeline here? I'm afraid not. Class pipeline factory is only 4 declared. I think I'll just move it to flat create info then. Yeah, the why not thing, right? So then I also need this header. And a set. Yeah, I don't know, man. I would call it ugly myself as well, but so well then at least now I can. Oh wait, I'm using pipeline factory anyway. Simply by calling that just this one function, which is a virtual function. Do I really not have a add push constant? It's just too dirty this, right? Include a complete header just for this single call here. And it is a virtual function. I'm going to create push constant. Yeah, so now I can just include, because I still need to type def, flat create info. And then we add a namespace here. For the forward declaration. And then it started to compile 289 files. But not really, because I'm using CC cache, or C cache, I guess. Invalid use of incomplete type. Yeah, that's because I moved it. To the .cxx file. A variable or field copy push constant ranges declared void. Snore. sure if I have to add scope in front of this type. I hope not. And then still I don't understand the error. Copy push constant ranges. Copy push constant ranges. Vulkan pipeline flat create info. Oh, it's not part of. Sorry, it's not part of the class anymore. So. Error passing. That create info. This argument is class qualifiers. Yeah, this is not const. Cannot be const. Singing. Okay, I didn't say anything. No, maybe you should go to bed. Conversion from AI thread safe wrapper aka to non-scalar type standard vector push constant range is requested. Why? Where? How? What do you mean? Oh, that's what we call it. Yeah. Okay, we're making progress, as it were. So this thing now returns a CRED type. And, well, I might be tempted to use auto. And don't call it. Push constant ranges are. And then this bloody thing doesn't know anything about R's. Oops. Pipeline, realize, yeah. Logical device, vector of push, ordered push constant ranges. Yeah, I just want to make it an R here. Dereference it there. And what is this? Create pipeline out again? Really? Why do I need that twice? And once for the key. Tja, now the logical device must know about this type. It gets worse and worse, doesn't it? Like really, really worse. So this is a CRED type. Of course, sorted push constant ranges type. And nobody knows what sorted push constant ranges type is. I'll have to add that to the logical device now. I think that's I'll fix that kind of thing in version 2. No, wait, I let Hayratin fix it. Just checking if he's still there. Yeah. Yeah, you're laughing. Oh, you gotta start somewhere. If you want to help me. I'll explain here at Hayratin, like here. I just don't like it that this type needs to be known is used in many classes, but not all classes are really totally aware of the types that are being used inside of L. I'll just show you. So basically, I need this type here, right? In a logical device. I mean, even as part of the declaration, that is. Realize pipeline layout. So we switch to the header. I search for realize whatever, what was it? Pipeline layout. Change the type. And then we need to know or define here this type. And the type is ctext says no. This is that type. That's not true, is it? Oh, it's an easy type. But. Oh man, I might as well define this type inside wherever I define this. To include that header anyway. Could call it, could make a header called sorted push constant ranges. And with just this. Boss Bunny did drink 53 whiskeys. Daniel has telekinetic powers, slowly growing telekinetic powers. Now you should know. How many Daniels do you know who have telekinetic powers? I'm just going to copy it for now. People keep asking. It doesn't matter if you add in frequently asked questions to the description of your videos. They keep asking it anyway. A warp drive. Oh yeah, that's a good one. From now on I'm going to say, if anyone asks what is a Vulkan engine, I'll say a warp drive. funny, Bugs Bunny. Very funny. Yeah, they're distracting me again. I know. I switched back to the chat tab and immediately I stopped coding. Okay, click. So no more chat. And I've got what I was doing. I need to add this type to this class, and it can be private. I don't really care about what or how or what. I'm not even sure if I want to add it up there then. Why not simply add it right in front of this where I'm using it? There. Same type as in flat create info. Because we don't know anything about that. Pipeline factory. It's being mentioned in a comment, but it's not going to help. Interesting. Control. Did I type standards? Yeah, it's seriously. I didn't. What is it whining? STD, sorted push constant ranges type CRED, has not been declared. Well, that's true. So I'm using the wrong. I mean, I really don't know where this comes from, but I'm using the wrong type because indeed that's not a CRED. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Sorted push constant ranges are. Just a logical device here. What the? This is not helping. Right. Well, first of all, this would be underscore R. And now we don't know anything about type here, but it is being returned by get sorted push constant ranges. So it's a push constant ranges type CRED. That is what it is. I just added sorted in front of it. Mistakenly, because this is also sorted here. It says sorted. Yeah, so maybe I should call this type also was sorted, and then I'm going to get confused with the set. It is sorted though. Anyway, then we get to realize pipeline layout, and then we have sorted push constant ranges, C-red here. And then this is nonsense. This should be a sorted push constant ranges type, which is something completely different. Namely this. So let's copy those then. Okay, let's try again. I mean, let's actually try again. Error, sorted push constant ranges was not declared. Okay, it fails that it is empty. So I would say it is being called twice. Yep, called twice. I go to the top 1, 2, crash. And we already had the validation errors before that as well. Wait, where's the first time? It's the first time at line 1293, and then a few hundred lines later again. Well, and I'm interested in what who is calling that. The first time it is a set of push constant ranges. Oops. That contains intended for just a vertex shader, offset 0, size 4. And then I'll say this looked like the second time. The empty test didn't even work, I guess. At least it added nothing. Or actually it did add something, right? It's not empty. Added something, so it should have crashed here already. Why is it not crashing here? Oh, but it is a different characteristic. What the hell? This is thread pool 2, or is it? Control L. It's not. It's doing a stupid thing again. This is the first time we call it. Yeah, definitely. Okay, and the second time we call it. We call it again with vertex. Yeah. Okay. That might be for the range, you know, it's a second range. So then I just did not clear the vector. Ah, no, and that makes sense actually. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm not clearing it. Is the range, this range a size of 2? I think it even has a range of 4 now I think about it. Yeah, I have to clear that vector now, every time. Every time I start a new characteristic range value. Before we do the filled stuff. Processed. Let's see exactly which characteristic this is. It must be the same characteristic. It is being called from the pipeline factory. No, entering pipeline factory. Confusing. Preprocessed. Preprocess, yeah. It's called at the end of preprocess, right? And well, of this task, this characteristic then. So we start at top again and just look at that task. Constructed. Just looking at running. State running vertex by initialize. running, continue or terminate, running, fill. Yeah. Running state vertex pipeline characteristic range fill. Running characteristic range continue or terminate, again, of course. Running state vertex pipeline characteristic range preprocess. So I did a initialize, then a fill, and then a preprocess. And then at the end of that, it's going to call copy push constant ranges for the first time. And then it is running continue or terminate. It's running compile, and then I guess it's starting over. Signal do fill. Yep, running fill again. It would be nice if it printed the range values, aka the fill indexes. But it does. Yeah, fill index is 1. Okay, well, yeah, so that's what is happening then. I have to clear this vector before beginning a fill. VI pipeline characteristics pipeline factory before starting a fill. Filled do fill. Signal do fill. Set fill index. Okay, now I'm messing with my own design. This is not right. The whole thing of the fill thing is that if you did something in the previous fill index, then you should not have to do it again the next time around. So if I clear it, I have to do it again, which I might not want to do. That is why the adds happen in the previous thing. It should happen in the previous thing during initialize. And that's what I'm not doing anymore. Oh boy, I'm an idiot. So most of the work that I did during this stream is not correct-ish. No, don't think it's correct. But I cannot stick around. I have to go to bed. So yeah, I guess I'll pick that up tomorrow. Very annoying. Yeah, see, the push constant is added during initialize. That is the moment that I should add a vector. To the flat create info. Damn it. Okay, yeah, it's gonna take another half an hour, or maybe even an hour. I don't know. I'm going to bed. URL says each class is about 3 months or so. Well, yeah, except, well, not really. Let's see. How many classes do I have? That prints all the vulkan related files. I think. I mean, even this is just it's source vulkan. I mean, yeah, it's really just vulkan, and I put of course also time into test, but I don't have many. So what I can do is grab for something that begins with struct or class, but it should not end on this semicolon. So it would be a for declaration. Yeah. So then I can filter out, I think, everything to the first column. So substitute something from the beginning, anything except the column, any number of time, including the column, with nothing. Now we get all the classes, and then I can, well, maybe they are derived from something. So also going to remove any final keywords, and then also all the substitute colon and then anything that comes after it. Oops. Final nothing. Two percentages. And now we still have spaces at the end, so we'll remove all the spaces at the end. I think that, well, let's just use a star dollar. And then we have to sort it and make it unique. And then I still have struct member something, so I'll just remove everything that has a colon or a larger than sign. And then I think we have all the classes. Yep, so now I can count them. 265 classes and structs. And that took me 2 years. So that is 265 divided by 2 times 365 is I must have done it wrong. Should have done one over that. Less than 3 days per class. 2.75 days per class. Where is the guy who said that? See you. Considering I have all these classes written in the last 2 years. Yeah, some take an hour and others take 3 months, I guess. Well, not 3 months, maybe a bit too much. I don't know. Is any of them take 3 months? I don't know. Right, and then of course we want to know how many classes we have in total in the project. Ten times more. Yeah.